What is up, party people? Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I want to talk about why you should be using Aramintha. Aramintha is a control-y kind of hero. She can also could be like just a straight up DPS, but she kind of fills the role of both DPS and control depending on the route that you kind of want to go down. And I'm going to talk a little bit about why, well, I'm going to talk a little bit about like what routes you can do with her and why she's better than I feel like people give her credit for. So let's get straight into it. So for starters, let's go straight into her kit. S1 gives a 50% chance to burn. This is the EE, so we're not talking about that right now. This gives you a 50% chance to burn. Okay, kind of whatever. Burn gives you damage proportional to the caster's attack. Pretty basic stuff. S2 as an AoE attack that dispels 2 buffs from all enemies, makes them unhittable, which is kind of like whatever. Unhittable doesn't really matter too much in most cases, but it also increases attack of everyone. Everyone gets an increased attack. Okay, that's nice. For every unhittable you land, you also get a CR push of 30%, which means you land 3, you have a 90% CR, which basically is almost an extra turn, and if you land all 4, that's literally an extra turn. Not bad. S3, 100% chance to burn, 2x burn effects by the way. You also have a 70% chance to stun. So stun is like one of the main selling points, at least in my opinion, for why you should use her. And I get that stun isn't the be all, and for most people don't really care for stun like that anymore. But I'm here to say a stun is still essentially stealing a ton from your opponent. Keep that in mind, right? And the soul burn effect ignores ER, which means you can even hit those pesty destinos with like all their ER and stuff. You can literally have a chance to stun them. So some different ways you can run her. For starters, you can run her on a speed build. You run her speed effectiveness. Obviously, if you can get more speed, go for it. More speed is great. You can even dump this down to like maybe 4k attack, maybe. You can even maybe lose some effectiveness. Maybe like, okay, minimum I'll say probably like 120 effectiveness minimum, but like you can lose some stats to get more speed if you want. But the idea is if you run speed, you want her to go first. And if she's able to go first or at least second or something, then you have a couple options here. You can S2 first, so you can land some unhittables, get that attack buff. And the attack buff helps her a lot, which I'm gonna get into in a second. But landing the unhittables allow you to essentially be able to go again, get another turn really quickly. It also gives you attack buff. The attack buff is really good because it sets you up to S3, which gives you a barrier based off your attack, which means you can have a beefy ass barrier, really big barrier. This being said, you also have a chance for burns and stuns, which is cool. And obviously burns is proportional to your attack, which means you have attack buff, you get more damage. Before we continue though, it's also important to know that because she's a mage, she can also run book. So you could also have her own book, Soul Burn S3, and now you have basically you're going to land your 2 burns, and you have a guaranteed 70% chance to land the stun. Sure, you might not land it all the time, but when you do land it, that's fucking really good, I'm just saying. Nextly, you have your EE, which your EEs are increased chance to burn by 10%, which is whatever, but this is really good for PvE, for like, especially for like Rift. You have your other Ignite, which essentially it gives you detonation for your S1, which is what you should probably be running. You also have your chance to stun by 10%, so instead of 7% chance, you have an 80% chance, which is also not bad, but I recommend this one because this is basically your killing move. This is what's going to kill a lot of time. It's your DPS anyway. Now, my idea here, you can S2, depending on turn order, you can S2, or you can go straight for S3, and know that you're probably going to land a stun or 2. It's great. You can literally just steal away your opponent's ability to do anything, and that's kind of what makes her so good. Sure, you can use units like a Yola, DDRs, Luas. They do similar stuff that she does. They don't cycle as they aren't going to end the game as quickly either because, well, frankly, they don't have the damage output that she could provide. And that's kind of like the main point I'm trying to get at here. Yes, she has counters, as everything does. Hand guy fucking sucks for sort of, because you can obviously strip the immunity. It's not like that big of a deal. You can strip with S2, but it's not that big of a deal. S2, S3, you're good. Or you can just S1 hand guy, he'll fucking take like a 10k burn dad or something. You'll be okay. It's not like the worst thing ever. But obviously multiple immunizers or cleansers really sucks for her in like a matchup. That being said though, that's kind of to be expected for a debuffer, right? A debuffer control unit, whatever you want to call her. But that's basically the speed build. Your speed build meant to go kind of first or second, doesn't really matter, as long as you don't get silenced by like a CEO. But you go first or whatever, you stun the team, attack up your team, and you kind of just snowball. It goes into a giant ass snowball. Especially with like no ER on her. Artifacts. I kind of touched on this a little bit. You can run Buck on her. I like Edicus because Edicus, this thing says 40% chance, but I swear it's not 40. It's like 80. I don't know. It's like 80. When you get to max out, I believe it goes to 50. I could be wrong. I'm not sure. But this is what I like using her on because she has fairly lengthy cooldowns. This is on a 4-turn cooldown. This is all on a 4-turn cooldown as well. But what you can do in the doing is you start the game. You pop S2, maybe you get some unhillables. Let's hypothetically saying, let's say you get 4. You get 4 unhillables. And Edicus proc. So you get your extra turn, or you get another turn. Edicus proc. This is now going from 3 to 2 turns. Then you S3. You S3, you get some stuff, cool, you land some stuns, whatever. Nice. Your turn comes back around. Edicus proc, your S2's back up. And just saying, pop S2, Edicus proc again, S3's back up. It's really good. It's really good. I highly recommend Edicus, honestly. I really enjoy Edicus like the most on her, but you can also run stuff like Abyssal Crown. I have Abyssal Crown. You can run stuff like Abyssal Crown because you have like stun chance, adds on the most stun chance. You want something like Kalahadra because it's going to increase the damage that she does, and she does pretty decent damage as well, just base damage. So you could do something like this. I wouldn't recommend it unless you're building crit, but you could do something like this. Siren's not bad for even with debuffs. You can give her a little violin depending on how you want to build her. If you want to be more of a stripper kind of thing. You have a couple of options here. Those kind of like the main ones, and obviously Book, also good. So Book, Edicus, Abyssal Crown, what I recommend the most. Oh, and Siren, what I recommend the most. Moving on to another way you can build her, and that is on counter set. Now I don't have like a counter build setup or anything like that, so you just kind of take my word for this. But you could build her something like a lot of attack, a lot of defense, like HP, and like decent effectiveness. And the idea here is that she's going to be more of a support DPS, I guess you could say. The idea here is they're going to her share counter because you got the dead EE. She's going to counter for S1. S1's going to proc a burn, potentially. Going to proc a burn. And because of the dead EE, at the end of that person's turn, because she now has a burn on them, this burn with that, thanks to her, and that would do a lot of damage. That's kind of like the idea. They attack her, you attack back, burn that damage. That's the idea. Besides that, she basically functions the same way the previous one would have, and that's like US2, you get like a lot of unhillables, you get a turn, you can go some stun, etc, etc, etc. You get the gist. You get how she works. That being said, that's essentially the only two builds that I can kind of personally say that I think works really well for her, and that's speed / counter. That's it. And obviously for the off piece, honestly, you can go effectiveness. You can also go like, you probably can get away with immunity, you know, if you wanted to. HP if you want to do the bulky thing. Defense you want to do the bulky thing. You have options. I recommend effectiveness is like best in slot because she is a debuffer. You want to debuff the land, but you don't have to, right? It's your unit. You can do what you want. Now, next point. Well, the main point, I guess I should say, why you should use her. You should use Aramintha because she provides you with a lot of surprisability, a lot of unpredictability. Your opponent doesn't know what this unit does. Most of the, obviously, a lot of people don't know what this unit actually does. Some people brings Austrian Mercedes into her because they think she has a passive like her ML counterpart does. Part of the ways you win RTA matches, or you can win RTA matches, is banking on the fact that your opponent don't know what you're doing. If you're doing something that's like so wild and outlandish that your opponent is like confused, this could win you a game. Like for example, having a Rylet at like 280 speed. What? That is surprising to people. Yes, there's Rylets like that, but there's not that many like that. If someone see a Rylet, they're going to bring like a Briarwitch or like Zark or something that's somewhat pretty fast so they can kill it really easily. But then they end up getting outsped by the Rylet that's wild, you know? It's stuff like this that kind of wins you game. Something like Samantha, Oh, by the way, I call her Samantha, so we are all on the same page here. Someone like Samantha, who people deem as a bad unit, not that great, they underestimate what she can do. Next thing you know, you're getting quad stunned, and now she has a beefy ass barrier. Or next thing you know, you're losing your attack buffer, your defense buffer, your immunity, because her S2 has strip. And then she's taking an extra ton because she landed the unhillables. I like bringing her into stuff like a can. Not necessarily too much in RTA, but I do like bringing her into stuff like Candy because you can land unhillable. That's basically easy unhillable land. Now if Candy does salvo, she's not healing nothing. Cool. No heal. Don't gotta worry about it. On top of that, obviously the S3 not gonna be able to stun, but this will be easy buns for her to land. Next thing you know, you S1 her, maybe land third bun on her, she's dead. Most candies just die to this. Cause like 2 bun stacks, 2 bun deaths is about maybe 20k plus with attack buff too. Maybe like 23, 24k. Most candies don't even have that much health. That's an easy just like almost one bang, if not one bang. That's why again she's really solid. Something like Euphane, same thing. Something like Destinas. You can stun a Destina. Stunning a Destina is huge. Obviously you don't stun it and that kind of sucks, but it's okay, you can get around it. But stunning the Destina is huge. Commons with the invincibility, S2, stripped it, S3. You know? There's a lot of options you can do here. Like I said, you can build her faster than this. You can get like, I don't know, maybe like 270, 260, 270 speed. You can build her quicker. You can drop some stats here and there to make this happen. And she's a Viper. She deserves far more credit than people give her for. And I feel like it's because people know that there's counters to her. Hand guy sorta. And like Lila now is a counter, kinda. ML Shroom because of the stuns, so there's counters there. But everything has counters. You work around it and you can find out how you can deal with it. A decent draft that you can draft her with, something I like doing, is like Arrowell or like some kind of mid first pick. Maybe not first pick nowadays because of, you know, ML Lilius, but not ML Lilius, lol. Green Lilius. Something like Arrowell might not be a great first pick or like LRK, but you can do something like Arrowell. They do what they do. Something like a Karina into hand guy, so you can take the hand guy from them, and then you go Samantha here, and then something like a Carrot, double debuffs. Cause this is also my book user, so like, you know, there go your book. But there's a lot of stuff you can do. I recommend the best way to use her is to kind of like trap your opponent. If your opponent doesn't draft like cleansing or any kind of like honestly, yeah, any kind of like cleanse, or they draft like something that's like not really a reliable cleanse, even if they just draft a hand guy, you can draft her like last pick. And depending on like how fast your Samantha is, you can S2, get rid of the immunities, S3, you can let the hand guy go first if you want, you can just S2, get that attack buff up, then they gotta worry about attack buff, like, you could do a lot. And I just want to make a small thing, just being like, yo, she's better than you think. Give her a try, give her a whirl. Hopefully this video makes you be like, you know what, let me try out my Aramintha. And if not, that's fine. I just wanted to make this video. I thought it'd be interesting to do, as she's one of my favorite units, if not my favorite unit. I'm gonna be honest, she is my favorite unit. I draft her. If I can get her in draft, I will get her in that draft. But yeah, that's all I want to say. That's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed this little rant, talk, I don't know what you want to call this. Hope you guys enjoyed. But without further ado, I bid you all adieu. Take care and peace. Bye bye.